Sorry, Ray.
Check that out. See if it comes out.
Am I okay right here? Do I need to move?
No, you're good. You'll move once,
Okay.
we get into around 7:15.
Did you see that Lucas Glover had to withdraw because he missed his tee time? I partnered that 500 3 years ago. Last day, played first 7 holes by myself. Sunday, I was winning. Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. Super Bowl Sundays right around the corner, and we've got a Super Bowl super show for you today. A lot of supers involved. And I'm going to tell you, this is a big day. We've got all three of us at 7:01. Good times. Josh, Misty, Hodge, ready to rock and roll. Misty, excited for this weekend. You've got a different cup for those that are curious. She does not have her Power Blue drink, so don't tell them what kind of things may spew out today.
Started early.
It's, you just don't know. It's red. I'm not going to tell you what's in it.
Well, I was going to say a lot of people use those kind of cups to disguise things, but she may have a huge mimosa in there. We have no
Y'all
idea.
would die, like later after the show, be like, have a good day, and I reek of vodka.
But for those that are going to be brought to you by the Tacoma County State Bank, hour number
There's no
2,
vodka.
there is no. It's,
Calm down.
it's a Bloody Mary.
It's Herbalife. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all need some herb in our life today, but it's Super Bowl weekend.
It's more medicinal for us.
Yeah, swear.
I promise.
Swear. What do you have? I have a job. I have a life. That's where my medicine's coming
Very
in.
stressed out.
Yeah.
But again, it is Super Bowl weekend. It's one of those sad times, as we know football is coming to an end. We always know the NFL does not go away. Off season will start happening. We'll be wondering how much is Dak going to get paid. There'll be off season moves and all the things, and so not completely over. But the game on the field when it comes to the NFL is coming to an end on Sunday. Of course, you have UFL. The Rock's going to be bringing the SmackDown for us in the spring, so we've got that going for us. But again, we got a jam-packed show. Again, Josh, Misty, Hodge, we're here getting you ready for Super Bowl Sunday coming up. Again, CBS has it. It won't be covered by the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network for the 28th, 29th, however many years in a row. Won't be having that this Sunday, but we'll get you ready for it and lots of storylines. And so we'll allow you not to just shake it off, if you will, with all the tether. Yeah.
Oh, Josh is not happy with that line.
Josh has already downloaded the new album in April. But let's jump in. We got a lot of stuff to cover. We've got after this first segment, we'll have one of our favorites on, head coach for the Abilene Cooper Cougars. Michael Bacon will join us as our My Town segment. Big stretch, first year back as a head coach. We'll talk to him about that, and then also just how down the stretch he's got 2 big games coming up to find a way to get the Cougars into the playoffs and realignment, all those things that come with it. We'll talk to Coach Bacon. Of course, we'll get his Super Bowl pick as well. Misty, tell us a little bit about the bottom of the hour and what you've got set up for us today.
So with Amber coming in, so it's the 20th year of the autism extravaganza. I had actually never heard of this, sadly, because I have 2 nephews that are autistic. And I didn't know that this was even a thing, but they're going to have a panel of speakers. Families can come with their kids and college students that are maybe wanting to major into this field and learn more about it. It's just going to be a really great time. So Amber's going to fill us in on what you can expect. She's also the moderator for that. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the extravaganza coming up.
Well, and I grew up with a kid in our class that, knowing now, was autistic. I mean, we just didn't know.
Right, yeah.
And so it'll be interesting having Amber join us at the bottom of the hour. And then, of course, we'll have Misty's bag. Josh is knowing half the battle. And again, our 8 o'clock hour will be full of Super Bowl talk, NFL talk, all throughout as we get ready again for Super Bowl weekend. But let's dive into our Lawrence Hall headline report. We appreciate Lawrence Hall. If you need a new car, truck, or SUV service, go find and listen and go get with Corey and their great sales team, and they'll get you taken care of. Josh, want to talk a little bit about baseball real quick. A couple of signings this week. Former Ranger pitcher, his son Bobby Witt Jr. Signs a big deal for the Kansas City Royals, and of course Jose Altuve signs a contract, 5-year deal with the Astros. I'm going to throw this out at you, Bobby Witt. A lot of promise coming out, and hopefully he'll live up to it in the contract. Is Jose Altuve coming close to being the greatest Astro of all time?
Oh, for sure. And he signed the contract extension that will take him to age 39, so it's basically he'll be an Astro for life, and set up the contract for the last 2 years of it. He's making $10 million, which is unlike a lot of those old guys signed long term. They become kind of a financial liability for your team. They set this up to where when he's in his last little stages of decline, he's not going to be paid, much more than just your regular journeyman free agent, So I hate it for him.
Well, and I guess, does he pass Biggio? Is that probably who he passes as far?
Well,
because I know Nolan Ryan, but I don't know about you. I think of Nolan Ryan, I think of the Texas Rangers before I do the Astros. Now, granted, on RBI Baseball, which was one of the greatest Nintendo games of all time, Nolan could bring the gas as an Astro, but I still think, honestly, Biggio Bagwell.
Well, and yes, I think Biggio is the other one. There's a lot of similarities, I guess, overall, but because Biggio is the all-time hits leader for the Astros, which Altuve has will most likely pass that, or at least be very close. So, but yeah, Altuve very good through the best times for that franchise. So that's what I think gives him the edge as far as the Astros spear goes.
And again, was part of 2 World Series and a couple of scandals. Actually,
It's fine. It's fine. Everybody has a scandal. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that's going on, we're going to get to football in a moment, but a couple of hires. Nick Saban is not without a job very long. He's going to be, he got hired by ESPN. He'll be a part of the College Game Day crew. So Pat McAfee, who had Nick Saban on every Thursday, will now get to see him every Saturday, and probably will still keep him on the show in some form or fashion. A couple of golf news. Tiger Woods is committed to play next week in the Genesis. And I want to mention, this golf, and Coach Bacon will understand this. This is golf's Super Bowl party is this weekend at Waste Management. I don't think Moy, I'm going to go on a limb that Moy's not probably watching us this morning yet. He might be. But Moy from Potosi Live is out there at the Waste Management. But it is the Super Bowl party, if you will, for golf. Big party on the whole on 16. But they got suspended, not full round yesterday, but Thigala leading that at 6 under. But one interesting, we have not had one of these in a long time, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you we're bringing them back. But our disaster of the week will start up, and it's starting today. Lucas Glover did not make his tee time. He was supposed to tee off at 8:26. His miscommunication was wrong. They called him. He's in his hotel room.
Oh.
And I learned this. If you tee off you can't tee off late. If you tee off late, you're just disqualified. If you tee off before your tee time, within 5 minutes before, if you tee off early, it's a 2-stroke penalty. So they are all. You tee off at 8:26. Don't tee off at 8:25. Don't tee off at 8:27. You tee off at 8:26. So instead of getting disqualified, he just withdrew. But again, your clock matters. Set your alarm, multiple alarm. Are you multiple alarm people?
Usually, it kind of depends. Most of the time, I'm not really a snoozer. Like, I'm pretty much up. Like, first alarm.
I set 2. What do you do?
I will set a second if there's something that's like
Important.
I really
Me too.
have to like.
Yeah, if there's
I
a
cannot
50
be late. It's different than my normal schedule.
Yeah.
But generally,
Well, so Lucas Glover for the rest of the year will probably not miss another tee time, but he's not going to. And I don't know what you do. Do you go buy a ticket to the 16 and just start partying on the 16?
Yeah, I think you just start drinking those Bloody Marys
Yeah.
really early.
So Lucas Glover not playing. NFL awards last night. Handed out. Lamar Jackson won the MVP. We did no shocker there. I asked him. He knows the answer. Do you know who finished second?
No, I don't.
I was shocked a little bit. He was not. I thought Christian McCaffrey might have finished second. Dak Prescott finished second in the MVP voting. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it,
Yeah,
but I think a lot of it, I might remember the last playoff game.
Yeah,
and
we're
the
still a
voting-
little
was
salty.
before
The voting was
Yeah.
already in, but I remember the last
Yeah,
playoff game.
we're salty.
Christian McCaffrey did win Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Joe Flacco takes out Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, and honestly, DeMar Hamlin. I thought they would just give it to DeMar Hamlin because, he's still alive
Yes,
and
he-
still
yeah.
played. But then you got Joe Flacco, who, in the NBA, again, Coach Bacon probably watches more NBA than us, but I watch a little bit. Joel Embiid has to play so many games to win the MVP. Joe Flacco just had to play a couple of games
Show up.
to win the Comeback Player of the Year. I was shocked by this one. Not because, again, what they did with Joe Flacco was a fantastic run with the Cleveland Browns. But the fact that Stefanski won the Coach of the Year shocked me a little bit because I thought it would go to DeMeco Ryan because you go from a 4-13 team to a playoff team and win a playoff game and do all those things. I was kind of shocked by that.
Again, they vote before the playoff games.
Yeah,
So-
that's
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even down the stretch, you go
Well, I
from
know,
4
but I'm
and
saying
13.
but that's the problem.
At the
Yeah.
end, they obviously played each other in the first round of the playoffs. The Texans won. The Texans have a great rebuild story also. So, I mean, there's an argument there, but in hindsight, you would say, well, he won the playoff game. He should get the Coach of the Year.
Well, take out the playoff game. I thought what DeMeco Ryans did from 4 and 13 and had to do a couple of games where C.J. Stroud wasn't even playing, riding the ship, finding a way to get the Texans into the playoffs was impressive. But again, Stefanski did go through like 17 quarterbacks, had a tryout probably at the concession stand, and then, somebody said call Joe Flacco, and not Shane Flacco with the replacements, they called Joe Flacco, and he showed up for that. Final thing about the NFL, Rex Ryan, possibly defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Are you in?
I'm so over the Cowboys right now. Like, just anything, just something, please. Sure, bring on Rex. I mean, at this point, like, whatever.
Josh?
Kind of a retread. I mean,
I think
We're all just like, meh.
I would be okay with Rex Ryan.
I'm okay with it.
We brought in his brother who was, didn't do much. But I would be okay with Rex Ryan. He won a Super Bowl as a defense coordinator for the Ravens. He had success as a head coach in New York, both New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Yes, he ended up always. There's head coaches out there that have been fired and head coaches out there that are going to be fired. So I would be okay with Rex Ryan. I'm surprised they've not looked at the Harris guy. I've not seen if they've taken Harris, if Quinn's taken Harris to Washington with him. I've not seen that. But Rex Ryan possibly heading to Dallas as a DC. Again, you could give the defense. Mike McCarthy would not have to worry about it. Just go Rex, go do your thing, and let me focus on the offense and hopefully finding a way to win the playoff game and get to the NFC Championship in 2024. All right, that is our Lawrence Hall Headline Report. Again, tons going on. When we come back, we'll have Coach Michael Bacon, head basketball coach for the Abilene Cooper Cougars, getting ready for a big 2-game push to try to find a way to get in the playoffs, and we'll get his Super Bowl pick right after this. All right, morning.
Also, the lab feed is working great.
You can have.
Y'all start off with a bang, man. Y'all talking about weed and Bloody Marys.
Yeah, we did go in this morning.
People are all driving, what?
Yeah.
So y'all's basketball changed a bunch.
Yeah, just
So my thought is, why was there not, of that 9-team district, is it just hard to pick which Lubbock school to bump down?
you're gonna look at geography, it'd be Lubbock Cooper, but how far is it from Lubbock to Wichita Falls?
It's not that far, so I think you just go up there.
There across. That would have been the logical one, but they lost their mind.
Because now you've got
We don't play
I really think it's not us.
2 or 3 hours.
As far as that's 3 hours. Which, back in the day, the original before 5A or 6A came in, it was always, to Abilene, Midland, Odessa, and they popped in San Angelo, which in the grand schemes, those are normal. I mean, everybody out here is used to the long distance. It's like even I had ACHS. I had ACHS Tuesday night officiating wise, and that's one of the things that Kirk said. Lubbock's not used to traveling 2.5 hours for a game.
We were in a district with several Dallas Fort Worth schools when I was there, both as a player and a coach. It was definitely that way. They thought they acted like they were driving up Paso.
Right. I will tell you, I learned this. I did not know. I'm sitting there refereeing, and I go to administer a free throw. Of course, I'm not paying attention to the scoreboard, and the clock's running. And I go, clock's running. I didn't know in taps, when you get up 40, running clock.
That hadn't always been the case.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. If you cut it 38 after a shot, still running. And this one kid was all like, hurry. And there's a sub. I wanted to say, what do you want to do? Cut it to 42?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. When you hear that, it's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative, where they're taking care of their members each and every day out of 3 offices, Roby, Snyder, and Stanford. We highlight the local player coach program, and today we've got Coach in program, again, one of our favorites. Wanted to really get him in right before he was heading out to a tournament to talk Florida State, getting hosed. But joining us in our Potosi Live studio, down here in the Mall of Abilene, head coach at Abilene Cooper, coaching the Cougs, Michael Baker.
Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it, taking time to come and to get rolling. I know it's a big 2-game swing that you got going. But real quick, let's take one quick moment. It's a little bit separated since. Your thoughts on, as a Florida State guy, that it was okay that they did or didn't get it?
I've got longer than one segment worth of thoughts on that deal. I think Saban willing to work for ESPN and the money grab that took place by ESPN and the committee there, is becoming more obvious by the day. Football's not figure skating. You can't just necessarily pick the team that looks the best. An SEC team or a Big Ten team had gone out and not given up a touchdown in back-to-back games. We would have heard about the ground game and the defense and all of that.
Right.
Florida State does it, it's ugly. So,
Well, and I've said all along, the biggest thing is, I'm sorry, NCAA, you have a 5th child.
yeah.
Don't treat the 5th child as a cousin. He's still a son.
Right.
So in my opinion, that's what they did. I was totally against it. If you wanted the 4 best teams, it should have been Georgia. If that's what you're going on, best teams, Georgia should have still found a way to get in, and because you lose 1 game to Alabama. Anyway, so yeah, let's get to the round ball. Because I totally disagree. Josh and a lot of other people thought I was wrong, and that's okay for them.
Nobody's perfect, man. It's okay.
Nobody's perfect, and that includes Josh. But let's talk. Okay, so first year, before we get into the season, and kind of where you're at right now, talk a little bit about back in that first chair, since being at Ballinger was probably the last spot as a head coach, but getting that job you've always kind of wanted, and talk about how the year's gone and how the kids have bought in. I see your, I don't remember what you call it, but when the guys come together, you have speakers come talk.
Yeah.
Just continuing that program in where you took it from Conover.
Literally and figuratively had some big shoes to fill for Conover. There are a lot of people that did a lot for me and have influenced me a lot in coaching. Joe Golding, Brett Tanner, Stephen Perry at Irving High School, and last but definitely not least, Conover. So it helped that there were a lot of things that we continued to do that our guys had seen be successful. And there was less selling involved. In a lot of ways, probably less change, at least wholesale change compared to when I stepped in at ACHS and stepped in at Ballinger, you know. So that's the biggest difference in this job and those jobs was, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we had already done that our guys had seen work. That being said, there's obviously a lot more decisions to make every day. And one thing that I definitely learned from Brian was what's a big deal and what's not. And his thing is, does this impact winning? And if it's something that impacts winning short-term or long-term, you know, you need to jump on it. If it's something that doesn't, you know, look to delegate it or see sometimes that sleeping dogs lie. So I was not always real good at that. My first two stops as a head coach, that's been a change. We've lost. I mean, our record is what it is, man. We're 11-18. We played a fairly tough non-district schedule. We've lost 6 games this year by 1 possession. So, you know, it's easy to look back at those and think, man, if we'd had this or that. But if you do that, you make yourself really crazy.
You won't sleep any more than you're
No,
less than you
I
already are.
don't sleep a lot anyway.
Right.
And I would sleep none if you did that. So just trying to find ways in each of those games to look for ways to get better. And, you know, we've gotten the last 2 at Lubbock High last Friday. And then we came back and got Coronado on Tuesday. So we're in the hunt with 2 to play. And if you'd have told me that when we were 2-6 about a week and a half, 2-6 in district about a week and a half ago, I probably would have taken it.
Well, and so you talk about that and where you're at, and basketball's a long season, and for those that whether you officiate it, you got a kid playing, or you're coaching it, or you're the player playing, listening on your way to swing through Mi Ranchito to get the official burrito of the Hodge Pack, is that it does fly by. I mean, in a couple weeks, you know, you got junior high kids already starting track, and the school year flies, but you do get to this point, and this is what you coach for, is to have a chance to get in. And so talk a little bit about, because we're seeing that in the NFL. I mean, Kansas City got hot at the right time. A lot of people had Buffalo in, a lot of people had the Ravens in, and now the Chiefs are where they are again because of the experience. Do you think some of that experience of winning in the past for some of these players and yourself will play into these last 2 games?
I hope so. You know, we've got 2 guys that have played a ton the last 2 years. And aside from that, with the guys that we have on our team currently, we're pretty inexperienced. Eric Tonchi is a varsity returner. Jaden Carrillo is a varsity returner, but they're playing big minutes this year. And last year they were playing pretty much based on matchup game to game. So some games a lot, some games not really at all. So Jordan and Cam have certainly been through it, but even their roles changed. I mean, they're taking more shots than they've ever taken. Cam's played hurt. Jordan's played sick. James played like, I mean, every team in the country right now is banged up, high school and college. But do I think the experience helps? Yeah. This is the least experienced team that we've had since I've been at Cooper as an assistant or a head coach.
And sometimes that can help too, because they don't know the difference. Just go play basketball and get after it. And
sometimes I take the experience. So
right, oh, I'm sure, no doubt. So you talk about what you've got the last 2 games and kind of the scenarios of how the Cooper Cougars can get in.
No, the scenario is really simple. We got to win, man. If we lose, we're out. And then we need Coach Reese. Sorry to my friend Coach Ruffin, but we need the Eagles to take care of the Bulldogs for us tonight. And that'll be a great game and a great atmosphere, you know. So we've got to get these last 2. Lubbock Cooper at home tonight, and then we're over at North 6 and Mockingbird
For the showdown.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's one of the things that is fun that you get. And those that are listening, I know people that follow us on Facebook and follow Coach Bagan on Facebook or Twitter. Go show up tonight. Get to Cougar Gym, be loud, make it an atmosphere to where the Pirates come in and have a rough time. I think home. I've always said when you coach in this thing, I always said win your home games and the road games you're supposed to, and hopefully that happens tonight for you guys.
Yeah. Come out, be loud. This is the 4th year we've been in the same district with Lubbock Cooper. since I've been at Cooper, so 4 years in a row. They beat us 4 years in a row there. We've gotten them here the last 3 times. So hopefully, for tonight, they've already won 20 games. They're leading our district by 2. So they're a really good team. Will Flemings and Coach Wright do a really good job. And they're 9-1 in the district for a reason. You know, some of the close games that haven't gone our way or we haven't pulled out. On the flip side, they've won. You know, our district, there's been several buzzer beaters, several one possession games, really 1 through 6. So, yeah.
And even saw something similar with Abilene High. You talked about the trees.
Yeah.
They beat Monterey here and then had to go make the drive up there and came up short. And so, so check them out. And then, of course, got 2 more games. Coach Becky does a great job leading kids. It's great when you post on Facebook of players coming back and making a difference and all the things. Of course, his wife, Haley, loves to come. Wife is Sarah. Haley is the daughter that loves to come to practice. And so hopefully a lot more practices for Haley and the Cougars. Let's talk real quick. It happened last week, the realignment. Random 5-team district. You can look up above. There's a 9-team district. Wichita Falls doing their things with their schools. Not necessarily looking too much to next year, but the challenge you talked about, getting games for that 5-team district.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all kinds of things about realignment. Normally, if you ever meet anybody that says they know what's going to happen, don't listen to them. They're wrong, because you never know. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I thought there was a decent chance we'd go east with Wichita Falls, but I thought if we went Wichita Falls, we'd be with Aledo and maybe Grand Mary and possibly Brewer. So when we clicked refresh on the UIL page, you know, last week and saw 2 Wichita Falls schools and just us being the Abilene schools, like that's a big change. And I forgot how many text messages and phone calls I made that day trying to get non-district games and move some things around. Stuff happens fast, and if you don't jump on it, especially when you're in a unique district like we are with 5 teams and starting district really late, it's hard. The other thing that makes it hard is there's some, you know, natural opponents for us to play in non-district with the Lubbock schools, but Lubbock's starting district the first week of December. So they've got a really limited amount of non-district nights, much less when they factor in a tournament or 2 early. So it presented a lot of challenges. Fortunately, we've got 1 more open date, and we're in a good spot scheduling wise. The schedule will look a little bit different than it has in the past, but I feel good about where we're at.
Well, and the good thing is having that out of your way and not having to try to find games.
It can be a nightmare.
Right. So real quick, it is Super Bowl week. What do you got this week?
You know, I've placed a wager or 2 in my life. If I was going to make a bet this weekend, I'm not betting against Mahomes when they go home. I think the thing that he has going for him, their defense has carried them all year. And they've been pretty patient with the run game and using the short passing game with Kelsey. Rasheed Rice has really emerged, you know.
And I think MVS has
He's had a couple big ones, man. He couldn't catch a cold most of the year or most of his time in Green Bay.
Right.
And he's made 2 game-changing catches late the last 2 weeks.
No.
So the Niners are really good. We'll see.
Well, we'll talk about it with us a little bit later. I still think he is the coach version of Steve Young. He still has that monkey on his back to finally get it off.
A little bit, yeah.
And try to win one as a coach. Opportunity to be the first father-son head coaches to win a Super Bowl. You know, a lot of things there. So, but Super Bowl weekend here, but the big weekend, I can assure you, is tonight at Abilene Cooper. The Lubbock Cooper Pirates come to town, and the Cooper Cougars find a way to get another one to make Tuesday even more fun when Abilene High and Cooper play. Coach, appreciate you taking the time this morning. And again, check it out if you have a chance. Get to Cooper tonight. Get loud and let Lubbock Cooper go back crying. When we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about the autism extravaganza. Thanks, man. I would be there tonight, but I'm driving to Frisco, Texas.
What are you doing there?
I've got a buddy of mine. Do you remember Dusty Oglesby? I don't know if you know him.
I know Robert Oglesby and Jenny Oglesby.
Ironically, they're not related. Anyway, he's got this opportunity to do basically a little audition. Go able to speak out at different conferences and stuff. Well, good luck. I don't think it's a chance to be a full-time deal, but it could, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, appreciate it, man.
Man, yeah, later. Yep.
Have a good one.
All right.
Play some golf soon.
Yeah, that's, talking about differences, I don't have a second sport anymore, so other than helping in a couple track meets, my spring's gonna be the best it has been right since I was in college.
Yeah.
See y'all.
We'll see you. You bet.
Okay, I've got some questions that we kind of just went over in there, so I can help.
You're gonna help run this.
Yeah, no, I've got it, yeah. I mean, obviously both of us, but yeah, I've got several.
Hey, Amber, I'm Hodge.
Hi, I'm Amber Davies. Nice.
So do you work at Region
I
14?
got Region 14.
There you go.
So Amber, you go here. Okay. And just put that little mic close and, yeah, so, and that, you saw that last question, right? Okay. Yeah, just, so, and kind of what we just talked about in the room.
All right, so real quick,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this because I don't know if it's the third camera.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna put Amber and I on my camera
Okay.
because I don't know if the third camera, I don't know. Anyway, I was telling Josh,
This is crooked, but is it crooked on the screen? Or no? Hal said the feed was working great, so that's good.
so for whatever reason a while ago, it had the little oops reconnecting, but then it kicked off the other two cameras.
Let's roll with that.
So they can see me and Amber, which is probably much better to see Amber than me.
Yeah.
So I've got February 28th, 8:30 to 4 at ACU's Hunter Welcome Center,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the flight, or
This
not
is
the
the
flight.
last one.
I'm gonna pull up the, like the flyer too, just so I can reference it. Yeah, perfect.
Well, and the other thing is our tie with DRI.
Yes, I thought about that
And
too.
how the impact of what DRI does for the folks that work at DRI.
Well, it
Gives
is,
them
it's
the
just
quality of
raising
life
that,
and that
it's raising that awareness.
right.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between. Brought to you by Lytle Landing Cattle. Head out and get you a Hodge Pack appetizer. Enjoy, maybe get a bunch of them, head them to your Super Bowl party this Sunday. But joining us, Misty, we're glad that you kind of helped set this up. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. So we've got Amber Davies with us from Region 14, and there is a big 20th autism extravaganza coming up February 28th, right here in Abilene at the Hunter Welcome Center at ACU. And so Amber is going to kind of tell us about this event. And, we'll first kind of start off with your background, how you got into autism and at Region 14.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. My name is Amber Davies, and I serve as the Autism and Speech Pathology Consultant at Region 14 Education Service Center. I've been there for about 7 years. I am a speech language pathologist, and I've worked with autism for about 15 years since I graduated from ACU. And when I joined the service center about 7 years ago, this event, the Autism Extravaganza, was already something that was a pretty large event. We average about 300, even during COVID. We did not have to cancel because of COVID. We were very proud about that.
That is amazing.
I know.
I would put that on my business card because everybody else did.
Exactly. We did do it a little bit later that year, but it's been going on. This is our 20th year, and we are super proud of that and so excited to share with the community and just increase awareness about autism and working with our amazing kids and even our amazing autistic adults that are in our community and in the Region 14 area.
Well, and one of the things that I guess will probably help is those that maybe for parents that get that diagnosis of their child and like, okay, how do we deal with this? How do we raise and how do we make life still normal and all the things that we want to do? I would think that's a big benefit for this extravaganza.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, this event is for everybody. If you have a brand new diagnosis, even if, maybe you have a family member or, your best friend's kid just got diagnosed, you want to know more about it, it really is an event for everybody. And we have a resource fair that we set up that is available throughout the day before we get started, during the breaks, at our lunch break. And we have community resources that will be there to hand out information about the services that they provide. So we're really excited. Last year I said it was our largest resource fair, and we're even larger this year. So we're really excited about that.
That's amazing. So a question just for our listeners that may not know, is the extravaganza just for people that are directly affected by autism, or is it open just for anybody and everybody, or who attends these events?
Yeah, so usually with Region 14 events, we're geared more towards just educators because that's who we support. But this event is very different. It is open to anybody and everybody who wants to come and learn more about autism. We get a lot of the college students that come, so those are our future speech pathologists, OTs, PTs, teachers, counselors, school psychologists, everybody. They come throughout the day in between classes. So if you've got something going on that day and you can't make it for the full day, we do invite you to come even for just a little while. You can come check out one of the speakers, check out our resource fair, and then head back to whatever you need to head back to. But it is for anybody and everybody, and you don't have to live in the Abilene area or the Region 14 area either. If you've got somebody who you feel like would benefit from this, everybody is welcome.
Well, and that's one of the things I would encourage it, and not just a plug of for those when we say, hey, when you download, subscribe, rate, review, because if you go back and listen to a show, you hear what Amber's talking about, and this event's February 28th. And for those of you that share it with people, you share it, okay, so if your friend does live outside of our listening area, let's say in Lubbock, which I know you're not outside our listening area if you listen to KLGD1069.com, but if you hear that, and Lubbock's not having this, DFW's not having this, it's a 2.5 hour drive. I mean, I'm making it today. It's not that far. You come for a day, 8:30 to 4:30, right? 8:30 to 4, and it just gives you that opportunity. So be sure to tell your friends, those that are listening, because I think we're learning each and every day more folks are parents, students are having to learn or not how to deal with, but how to cope and continue. I always give a big shout out. DRI. What they do at DRI, Disability Resources, the quality of life that they give folks. And if you've ever been to DRI, you can go step on that campus, or if you've ever heard John on our show, you start talking, they know how to love, and they know how to give, and they know how to do. So I say all that because the other thing that I think will be huge for education, all that, is also employers that you see that are employing, nothing strikes you out. I mean, okay, I'm autistic. Okay, but I'm still going to be one of the best employees you got. And those things I think are important.
Right, they are. We do partner with Workforce Solutions, and one of the programs that they run is job coaching. And so, that's available at a lot of our schools in Region 14. So they'll be there at the resource fair to talk about that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Our goal is to help our kids be successful in whatever that looks like for them, whatever their dreams may be, whatever, they want to do when they grow up.
So how are y'all funded, and is there a cost for the extravaganza?
Okay, so we are donation funded basically for this event. We have some incredible community sponsors that have been with us, some of them for the full 20 years. ACU is a big sponsor. They donate the space for us to be able to be in Hunter Welcome Center. We don't have a large enough space at the service center for this, which
that's a good thing. That means it's
great thing.
Yes. And the Hunter Welcome Center is beautiful and campus. So yeah, that's
it's
great.
So great. Yes. West Texas Rehab, Hendrick Rehab. We've got a lot of other sponsors this year too, Spectrum Connection. Community Foundation of Abilene, the Kiwanis Club. I'm going to leave some out, so I apologize. But the list is long this year, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. And because of all of those community sponsors, we're able to offer this for free.
Wow, that's huge.
It is. And, you know, we're bringing in speakers that are not cheap, and usually you have to pay money to be able to hear the caliber of speakers that we bring in every year. So we're super thankful to be able to offer this free to anybody.
So talk a little bit about some of those, because everybody loves, no matter, you know, whether it's a school and they bring in Jerry, whatever his name is, that talks, and because he's been in the school and all those things. So
Yes.
there's speakers for every industry. So who are some of the ones, maybe one or two, that would resonate with folks that are raising autistic kids, or family members, or employees, or students that are in classrooms? Who's somebody that we're excited at Kirk Herbstreit? Who's excited that's coming to the extravaganza?
Absolutely. So our first speaker is Sherry Sensebrian, and she is a speech language pathologist out of Texas Tech. And if you are an SLP, you know her name. She's incredible. She's up on all the research. She's going to talk about brain science and school success. So how can we help our kids be successful specifically in school? And then after that, we have a panel. So it's the first time that we've done a panel, and we are going to have some autistic individuals. We've got a junior high student all the way up through, you know, we've got our speaker for the afternoon, who is an adult who is autistic, who's a motivational speaker. So he's going to sit on the panel too with us. They'll answer a few questions, and then in the afternoon, Kerry Magro is his name, and he's going to talk about, he was nonverbal until he was about 3 or 4, and now he travels the country and is a motivational speaker. So talking about how school set him up to be successful for the rest of his life.
Well, and I think going back to teachers, if you need some continuing education, professional development, it's free.
Absolutely.
Your school district doesn't have to pay for anything.
Yes.
And you're probably going to take more away from it than a lot of the other, no offense, workshops that you may go to the rest of the year, because it's going to be specific to what you deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
If you have students in your class that are autistic, and want to be able to take what you hear and from this person that, what's his name?
Kerry Magro.
Kerry Margrove, to take that back to inspire students that you have to say, you know what,
Absolutely.
this guy was not verbal,
Right.
and now he's getting paid to be verbal.
Exactly.
And so to me, those are the things that these conferences, these workshops, and so that's why I'm telling you, those that are listening, February 28th from 8:30 to 4. I'm assuming you're keeping them there, feeding them. Are they lunch on their own?
It is lunch on your own. We do have snacks.
Okay.
We have great
So,
snacks.
so great snack, which is huge, because
Yes,
there may be
snacks matter.
They do.
teachers-
They do.
because I can assure you, teachers and coaches have never turned down free food, whether it's in a
Exactly.
snack form or anything. So be sure. So February 28th, 8:30 to 4, ACU 100 Welcome Center. Misty echoed, it's a beautiful facility on the campus of ACU. And the other thing, we got excited for 5 years, but the fact that not only is it 20 years, you didn't have to worry about Rona. Celebrating 20 years of anything is huge, and so congratulations to you.
Absolutely.
And so the autism, is it autism or autistic extravaganza?
Autism extravaganza.
Autism extravaganza, February 28th, 8:30 to 4, ACU Hunter Welcome Center. What do they need to do? Do they need to sign up for a head count, or how does that work?
So we are asking that you register just so we know how many chairs we need to have for everybody.
Where do they do that?
So they can do that at the Region 14 website, or they can email me or call up to the service center, and they can direct you to me, and we will get you signed up. No fee to register, all free.
Just
So we
need a
want
head
you
count.
there. Just need a head
yeah.
count. We want you there.
Yeah, and it's on the flyer that we shared on our page, and so to Amber's information and the phone number and the Region 14 website is also there as well.
All right. So again, Autism Extravaganza, February 28th. Get signed up and share with people. Maybe it doesn't affect you, but you know somebody that does. Share the event. Again, free rhymes with me. And so it doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of time, but I guarantee it sounds like, if nothing else, when Carrie speaks, you're going to be blessed if that's all you make it for. So be sure you show up 8:30 to 4, ACU Hunter Welcome Center, February 28th. and football will be over. So that's not an excuse anymore. So get signed up. Amber, thank you so much. Misty, thank you for
Thank you,
making the
Amber.
connection. And again, so when we come back, we may even see if Amber wants to stick around and answer Misty's question. But when we come back, we'll open up Misty's bag right after this.
Great job. You're such a natural. You did so good. Thank you. I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that went very good, very smooth.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, that was great. I was telling Amber that I love that we can do stuff like this on the radio show.
Yes,
Somebody was telling me yesterday that the Bible recap is a big deal right now. And Tara Cobble was on the Kid Craddock show, and they were saying how they were like, wow, that's so cool that they're bringing religion onto their show and just different subjects. And so bringing you on, I was like, this is great. Like, I love that we can do this on a sports radio show, like, and I mean, these kids play sports too. You know what I mean? So it's like they're the same as all of us. They just think a little bit differently. That's what I've always said about my nephews. They're just like us. They just think a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really good for family members. Like, if I'm around, I was thinking about it just for me having my two Masons, and just so that I can learn more about it. Just because I think it's beneficial, for any and everybody. Because we're all going to come in contact with people, and we need to know how to serve them and love them better and be an advocate for them. Exactly. And patient. And so, yeah, because I'm like, they're better than us, that's for sure. Both of my nephews are, that's for dang sure. But
Thank you, guys.
you're so welcome.
Excellent work.
Yes. I know. I'm so happy for y'all. Yeah, like Hodge said, 20 years of anything is something to be very, very proud of. Like, that's really amazing.
One thing I did mention is we are doing a mayor proclamation in the morning.
Oh,
He's gonna
really?
have,
Oh, cool.
Jody Arrington sending somebody. I think Sam Lambert will be there.
Nice. Oh, that's so good. I love that.
Dumb question, can I have a look? What does that fall on? What's the day?
It's a Wednesday, February 28th.
Oh, even better. I mean, get out of
During the
school.
week, I know.
Yeah.
Get out of school.
We've done weekend stuff before.
It doesn't go over as well.
No,
Yeah.
No, we get more people during the week.
Yeah. I love
Well,
it.
People take their kids to school and then they come.
Well, and once weekend gets here, everybody's got some type of game.
Yeah, that was a really good segment. They moved it because it was. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you for reaching out. Anytime we don't have stuff like that, we may not see it. So, yeah, thank you. Great job on reaching out and letting us know.
Next year.
Huh?
No oil next year?
Yeah, do it. You'll be a staple this time every year.
I love it. Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
You're
Hey,
so
have a good day.
welcome. I hope it goes really well.
Bring a student or bring,
Okay.
Yeah.
and say, because if they're doing it, inviting them, it adds another.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we can do it bigger next year. But thank you so much. All right, bye. See you later.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, rocking and rolling in this 7 o'clock hour with Hodge Pack, again brought to you by Lidle Land and Cattle. Our guest appeared on our pest control phone line, and we had a guest right in studio, Amber Davis. Davies. I appreciate Amber coming and sharing about the autism extravaganza. Again, February 28th. It's on a Wednesday, so you have plenty of time. Get a sub if you're a teacher. Take the day off. And trust me, if your superintendent knows they don't have to pay for a workshop, they're going to be all for it. So be sure you get signed up for that. But now it is time for.
So speaking of mulligans, huge specials for the Super Bowl. That's where I will be watching the Super Bowl this Sunday. So I wanted to plug some of their specials. 58-cent wings, since it's Super Bowl 58. How cool. That's pretty clever. I was like, I love that. Pick 3 appetizer for $15, $10 buckets of 5 domestic beers, $10 Super Bowl fish bowls. I don't know what
What's
that is, but I will be partaking. I think I've got to try one of those.
I wonder what
I don't know. It says
No, but say it again.
Super Bowl fish bowls. So I'm thinking it's some sort of
I'm thinking.
cocktail. I don't know. I'm not sure, but
I thought maybe like some of their fried catfish. They have that.
We're-
Here's a fried
no,
catfish.
it's
Bowl of
definitely a
catfish.
drink.
Ooh.
It's definitely a drink. And then they've got the Marcus Allen band tonight, and then Chrissy Phillipstone Saturday night. So huge weekend for
The
Mulligans.
running back Marcus Allen.
Heck yeah, we're there.
I really thought he'd be in Vegas.
The huge weekend, and then I told y'all last week they have some big announcements coming. That's probably going to be this coming week, so we will be on the lookout for that. But now it is time for the question of the week. So you get to fight for your right to party. No, you get to fight one athlete, and if you win, you get to take all their money. Who are you fighting?
There's nobody I can take that has a lot of money.
It's gotta be somebody.
I mean, what about like Carrie Strug? Maybe could Hodge beat up Carrie Strug?
No, she would like flip over me and then like roundhouse.
Yeah, this is not a great question for Hodge. Like,
Well, I don't.
if you're
if
listening,
you
your money
say-
should be on me or
If
Josh.
you say a girl, then you that'd be wrong.
100%.
I'm really worried about you, Hodge.
Yeah.
And I mean, Justin Tucker, maybe I could take the kicker.
No, he would just kick you.
That's what I'm saying.
You really are at a disadvantage
I'm not saying you're.
with this
Maybe
question.
you could like think of
I bet
someone.
there's a golfer.
Think of
Maybe I
someone
could
who's
take.
elderly.
They'd have to be older than me, Josh. I don't know if that exists.
Elderly. Is there an elderly woman around? Who's an elderly athlete
Oh,
that's a woman? For
No,
all?
all right, I've got it.
Are we gonna be
I- I-
boxing?
I think
Or
I've
or
got it.
bull holds bar?
I don't know.
I've got John Daly. But the reason I say it, I'm assuming he's had so many John Dalys he can't stand up.
He smokes a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
and
just
so
like,
I'm just gonna run around the ring a lot until he passes out.
Well, you'll pass out too if you do
No, that's a
that.
good point.
I'm
But
thinking boxing ring, like
Boxing ring.
boxing
Gotta
ring
box
style, like
somebody.
it's
I
like
would
a
say John
celebrity
Daly
match.
because there's a chance he may be inebriated when he got into the ring and had not have a chance.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go, John Daly.
John
John
Daly.
Daly.
Okay.
You know, he's sponsored by Hooters, so you could get like maybe some distraction.
Uh-huh.
Ring girls, and also he's not looking. They're like, hey, look,
Hey,
check out the Hooters on that.
that one always works.
Nice owl.
Distraction.
Well, I mean, like nice owls, like off of Dumb and Dumber. Check
Yeah,
out the Hooters
creative
on that.
version.
Yeah.
Oh, the owls, and then knock him out. There you
Well,
go, John Daly.
Actually, that's a pretty good.
Breakdown.
Yeah,
how that happens.
It
Yeah, that's
actually is
basically it.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Oh.
But like, if you're in a dark alley, I would be scared for Hodge's life.
Well,
you know-
I'd be scared for my life if I was in a dark alley.
Not- You look like you could
I
beat
don't-
somebody
I
up.
don't go in dark alleys.
Except every Friday morning.
I was like,
Forgot about that.
I did this
Oh.
morning.
Thank goodness it's a short alley, but a long tunnel.
Yeah, there is a long walk to get here. All right, so this question is strange. Thanks.
You're
100%.
welcome.
You're,
I'm thinking,
you're
Josh, I'm not
promoting
gonna lie.
violence, and I do not promote.
Yeah,
violence.
yeah. That we do not do. Number two, I had every thought in my mind that there was some type of Super Bowl question. And then she goes,
That would have been too easy.
It would have been. I like the
but
off the wall.
but then she goes, if you had to, I'm thinking, have a Super Bowl party with. If you had to book the halftime entertainment. No, if you needed to fight somebody for cash.
All right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So in a boxing ring, first of all, I'm in pretty terrible shape, so like boxing might not be good for me. But I mean, we talked about Jose Altuve earlier. He's really short. Maybe I have a reach advantage.
And he does have a lot of money.
He does have a lot of money.
That's the thing. You want somebody who's got a lot
Probably
of
take
money.
out too, eh?
Like he's short.
He's literally
In
my
box-
size.
And I'll say that because in boxing, I probably could stay far enough away. But he'd probably be really quick if I let him get close. That's a risk.
You could do that, and I'm showing on our Facebook Live, where you put the hand here and he's doing this.
Yeah, I can't hit you. The forehead.
That would be me and you fighting because I think I'm like the same height as Altuve.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Josh and Misty.
Oh, man.
Josh
Brought to you by
would kill me.
MTV.
But boxing somebody would that. I mean, that would be funny. So yeah, and I'd have some. I'll go Altuve. Just.
And
It'd
because
be a
you hate
risk.
the
He'd
Astros.
probably be,
But
he's rich.
and he's an Astro.
Yeah, and he's an Astro.
Would you
And
check
he's
to
a
make?
cheater.
Would you make sure he wasn't mic'd up?
Yeah, I would have to figure out what he was doing to like cheat, obviously.
Oh,
Like
man.
a roll of nickels.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles coming out.
All right.
That was the goofiest question you've ever asked.
Well,
Does it take over the Care Bear question?
but Lauren just texted, said, love the awful wall question from Misty.
See, I knew if I win Super Bowl.
Brent Hill said Tim Lipscomb,
He's a scrawny little guy.
which is a baseball pitcher, which is a pitcher for the Giants that looked like the kid off of Daisy Confused that always touched his nose. So, Misty, who are you taking on?
I mean, I really want to take the man bun on, but
He
could.
doesn't have it anymore.
I know, but he could probably beat me. But I'm just thinking, all he does is eat like weird stuff, and he does have a lot of money. Maybe Tom Brady because he's getting older.
I think I could
sweep the leg.
Probably just
Yeah.
I think I could sweep the leg on Brady and take him down.
Right.
On a girl, if a girl athlete, which, some people don't think like NASCAR people are athletes, but like Danica Patrick and I think are about the same size. That could be a pretty scrappy
I didn't
match.
expect to hear a Danica Patrick reference today. It wasn't on my bingo card.
Well, I'm
I
not
can assure
picking
you, Michael
Serena or Venus. Like,
No.
No.
who would I pick? There's not a lot of
I'll tell you
females.
another one. I don't know how much money he has, but like John McEnroe, he would be feisty, but as long as you had a tennis racket, maybe.
Oh, I saw him on that pickleball.
He was
thing
still
the other
pretty
day.
ticked off
Yeah,
about anything.
but he looks very frail.
Yes, I think maybe him.
You could probably
Okay,
take
you
him,
could
Hodge.
probably take him, but I want someone a little bit more spicy because that's my
You want a chance?
personality.
You want a chance to get beat up?
No, like I want it to be entertaining. Like I don't want to just be like,
Maybe we could
bam,
fight
like
Megan Rapinoe.
yeah, like,
Someone
Yes.
who's punch her in the face.
yeah, Mia
With a
Hamm.
glove.
They would probably take
Yes.
me out. Their endurance is crazy. So I don't know. I think I would fight a guy over a girl. Strangely enough.
Ironically, I don't know if that would be as entertaining because people in today's time, nobody encourage. Well, again, we don't encourage.
No, I don't
Don't
encourage
ever turn-
violence. This is just a funny, goofy question.
But no, we appreciate it. Feel free, those who are listening. Dad just said Ronda Rousey. No,
Oh my God, I
yes.
would literally die.
yeah, Dad said Ronda Rousey. I'm like, I'm not doing that to Misty because we would now be Hodge and Misty only. I mean, Hodge and
Yeah.
Josh only.
I would not. I need somebody that's like, I'm not saying like I'm a great fighter.
Well, I think it would need to be a
I-
UFC type thing where it wasn't like last man standing match.
Yeah.
Because you
No,
see,
you-
that
you need to-
it needs to be a respectable. Hey,
That's
we're
why I
doing
say
this for
boxing.
charity.
I'm going to go down with a fight. I might get my rear whipped, but I'm going to go down with fight. For
Well, I mean,
sure.
Okay, this always has come up. How much money would it take to take a punch from Mike Tyson at 56 years old?
A lot. He would literally like fracture everything on one side of my face.
I would have to have it in the writing that it would be a lot of money that doesn't count for my medical bills.
Well, yeah, above the medical bills, like $5 million. This is a great face. So it cannot get damaged.
I want my face
Is
to
this thing
still.
over yet?
I
So,
do not
Joe,
want
I
my
think it's
face
time for the
messed
lead
up.
ID. Yep, roll it.
I think Josh is pretty excited about getting punched in the face or fighting Altuve.
No, because I'd probably get beat.
I'm not surprised that he picked an Astro. Clever, Joshua.
Well, and I was really looking for the height advantage. You don't need reach in a boxing ring.
You could probably take Dusty Baker.
He's retired now.
There's no age limit on this.
Would you take a rock bottom from the rock?
Yes, I would do that before I'd let somebody punch me in the face.
Oh, wow. All right, so again, that's brought to you by Mulligan's. Feel free to get over, get a
The leg drop
fishbowl.
from Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, the leg drop from Hulk Hogan, who, yeah,
You bounce off that like springboard, whatever.
Well, there you go.
You seem to know a lot about wrestling.
Yeah.
We need to talk
And now
about
Mrs. not only a sports radio host, she's now our WWE insider.
I'm
Coming up
crying.
next on WrestleMania 57.
I'm
indeed.
crying.
But when we come back, we will have hour number 2 and start talking Super Bowl and go get you a fishbowl. We'll be back.
Oh, you're welcome. I could not do a Super Bowl question. That was way too obvious.
I agree.
Oh, God, that was funny. Like, literally was crying.
I started having a lot of random thoughts about, would you go for the folding chair to win your fortune? Obviously.
Yes, I'm doing whatever it's legal in the ring.
Well, the folding chair is not legal. You have to make the ref look
Oh,
over
that's
here.
true.
You've got to
chair.
get Misty to come up on the ring, distract the
You
offense
folding
referee.
chair, and then when the
With
ref
my
comes back
owls.
around, you're pinning them to the
Look
ground.
at her owls. Oh,
Um,
funny.
I mean, that's the oldest trick in the book.
Hey, look.
Oh yeah, you distract the ref, fold the chair.
Oh, yeah, so funny. Yeah, I know it was off the wall, but they've got to be off the wall.
Where you do a Phil's Mafia, like jump out of the ring onto the table by the ring.
Anybody else got a random? Billy said that the Dallas News was saying that Zimmer may come back and be the DC. Both former head coaches.
So funny.
I do like the idea of a former head coach that's a defensive guy to just like.
And really, Dan
Dan
Quinn did fine. You know, he's got a lot of flack of firing every enemy, but
How many minutes do we have?
He did
you can
fine.
go TT.
I'd be careful in there. I don't know what happened. It was not
What?
me. It is a disaster.
Wait, what do you mean?
The surf pro needs to come back.
Did y'all poo?
No. Well, somebody did something. I don't know what.
Now I'm scared.
I would be.
Oh my God. Okay, so I think I just need to hold it.
Now I'm curious.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing that. There's like water.
You need some rubber boots.
Not doing that. I'll just hold it, I guess, for an hour. What is this little jewel? Up
Supposed to
here?
go outside.
Oh, outside. Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna not do that.
I got a bucket.
I'm like, is there another bathroom somewhere?
I'm sure there is where the public one is all.
But that's scary too. That's a tunnel also.
It's a long way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would not make it back.
Well, Misty, nice knowing you.
Misty has left the building. Oh my gosh.
All right, how do y'all want to attack this Super Bowl
So
kickoff?
violent.
What?
He's fired up.
Why do I be so violent?
There's my guy. He waved at me. He's so cute. So cute.
How do y'all want to kick this thing off? Just roll into that stud calculation?
That's what you got on the page.
Whatever you want.
Obviously, storyline, pressure.
Did you come up with some chance, no chance?
Do you have knowing that battle?
I wrote down a couple
I
of
need
chance,
somebody
no
to sponsor
chance.
that.
No one wants to be held responsible.
That is true. That is true. Did you hear what he said?
Reflect poorly on it.
Aaron Laughlin. Did we talk about the doctor's office last week in waiting?
Uh-huh.
He said he was rolling. I saw him.
Yeah.
He went back and listened to the podcast, which we appreciate people do.
Yes.
Hour number 2, time to kick off with that. Brought to you by Coleman County State Bank, as I've got a little bit of a stain in my taser king. Anyway, we're glad that you're with us this morning. It's been a heck of a day. We've got wrestling matches with Misty and Danny Kirkpatrick, Josh and Altuve, and me and John Daly.
That's a heck of a card.
Yeah, Tim Lisco and Lauren, feel free if you're still listening. Feel free to tell us who you would want to buy.
We're giving people nightmares.
Yeah.
Who's the main event of that scenario?
Top card, hopefully next time. But it is Super Bowl week. Football's coming to an end. Super Bowl 58 out in Las Vegas. You know, they used to always hear the stories where people getting in trouble and suspended and not playing. Would you be a little nervous if you're the head coaches and your team's in Vegas?
Yes,
few days?
absolutely.
Do you bring extra people to babysit players? Hey, you're in charge of this person. Travis, Kelsey, do not do anything crazy, because I can see him being Gronklight and swimming in the Bellagio pool or something after
yeah.
a long night.
Yes, I mean, I bet there are more people to encourage good behavior. But the truth of it is, people always make a big deal about Vegas. There is a lot that goes on there. But any of the cities that NFL teams play in for a potential Super Bowl, it's not like the rest of them shut up at 10 o'clock. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, you can get in trouble
And,
anywhere.
and honestly, next year's is in New Orleans, and it's not much different.
no.
So So Super Bowl 58 in Vegas. I think we've got a sexy game, or a game that has a lot of storylines and opportunities to. You've got a guy trying to win. I mean, all Mahomes is known, it seems like, as Super Bowls, AFC Championship games and Super Bowls. Andy Reid had a great run with the Eagles, trying to win number 3. Not a lot of coaches have won 3 Super Bowls. Yeah, the Cowboys won 3, but one of those went to Barry Switzer. I mean, they've won 5, but Barry Switzer won one of those. So Jimmy's only won 2. Belichick, I mean, that's something we look up. Chuck Noll, Belichick, because Bill Walsh, I don't think maybe Bill Walsh won 3, because the other one was with George Seifert. So you start thinking about getting in the category that Andy Reid has a chance. Of course, Kyle Shanahan trying to win a Super Bowl.
Father, son.
So there's a lot of things going on in this weekend and in this game. But I want to look at, when you just look at it right now, and it may change, I doubt, Josh, you watch lines a little different. Right now, the 49ers are the favorite. Are you shocked by that?
Not at all. I think that the Chiefs have not had, the strongest showings at times, but Patrick Mahomes has been good enough to just keep getting them over the top. But they still have some offensive issues that could show up, and if it does this Sunday, and you talk about just rosters and players, the 49ers are absolutely loaded.
So I put that, and I'll put that to you too. So I put in the rundown studs. The studs matchups of who has the most studs. Yes, there's some people that are role players, and Rashid Rice is one of those. Is he a stud, or is he a role player? I've got listed as studs for the Chiefs: Mahomes, Kelsey, Pacheco, and Chris Jones. For the 49ers, I got McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. I put Williams in as the left tackle, and then I've got Bosa and Chase Young again. In addition, that they made a move, they brought Chase Young in, and then I've got Purdy in question mark. So looking at it, back to yours and back to the spread and all that being the 49ers favorite because they are loaded. Is my stud count right?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I'm not surprised at all that the 49ers are favored. I guess we'll talk about our picks later, but for me, the defense, if the 49ers defense can just contain Mahomes, they will win this football game. That is going to be my prediction for the Super Bowl. And so, and I mean, you've got a question mark by Purdy, but I'm like, absolutely, he's a stud. Like, the kid can air it out like nobody's business, and he's definitely brought them back from multiple games where they were not going to win. So absolutely, I would not have a question mark that Purdy is a stud.
I agree with the question mark, just purely on he has to sustain some success before I would truly put him in that category. We saw the game against the Lions where he played like dog doo-doo the first half, and it almost cost them. But to his credit, he did get it back together and came back and they won. He threw 4 interceptions in a game towards the end of the season. So there's still some if out there with him. Now, I do think, his story, his path, his openly wearing his relationship with Jesus Christ on his sleeve are all things that I really get behind. I don't like the 49ers. I don't like that he plays for the 49ers because I do have a lot of respect for Brock Purdy. Look at your stud list. You have that laid out. And look at it position by position. So Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. Purdy is, like I said, still waiting to maybe take that next step and show that he can be that for a career, but I do think he's, moving in the right direction. The 49ers, running backs outclass the Chiefs running backs. The Chiefs don't even have any wide receivers. The 49ers have two pretty good ones. Kelsey and Kittle, I don't think there's much separation between them. They kind of play a different style of football, but they're both very good tight ends. And then the defense, you've got Bosa, Chris Jones. I mean, they're two of the best, but then the rest of the defense kind of falls in behind them. I think the 49ers kind of just edged them out across that. So when you really look at your position by position layout, I really do think it comes down to Mahomes and his ability to overcome their lack of wide receiver core, and Purdy and just needing to make sure he doesn't blow it. And I'm not saying that that's the pressure that he has. It's just like, if he goes in just thinking, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, it's not going to be good. But if he just does his thing, the 49ers offense will be good.
Well, and I go back to, there's always those random people that, I mean, Desmond Howard's a little different, but there's always those people that occasionally pop up and have big games. I said it 2 years ago when we had Dominic Rhodes on. Dominic Rhodes should have been or could have been the MVP of that Super Bowl that the Colts won.
Yes.
But Peyton Manning is who Peyton Manning is and all that. So I think there's some people that could do that this week, but you're exactly right. The people that are going to have to step up are those studs. But if the studs do what they're supposed to do, even though the 49ers are who they are, and you mentioned it, Josh and Misty, you added an extra stud because you dropped a question mark, then you would think the 49ers. But is the stud level of Mahomes so big that does he count two studs?
Yeah.
And that I think he's going to be enough to do it. And going back to Josh's point of still trying to figure out Brock Purdy, everybody's blaming, well, you're in a good system. Well, Shanahan did it with Matt Ryan. Shanahan did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. Shanahan's done it and made people successful. But to me, Brock Purdy deserves to be more than just called the game manager at this point. And maybe it is because recent bias always elevates itself to the top of what he did on getting the extending drives against the Detroit Lions. And, and Cam Newton has become, and you mentioned it in our text feed, that Cam Newton came out that, well, Brock Purdy's not even one of the top 10 players on his team. I 100% disagree with that. And I think Brock Purdy is getting the opportunity to say, I am more than just a pretty face. I am more than just a game manager. Should he get that drop and he's just is he an elite quarterback or a great quarterback?
I don't think he's an elite quarterback at this point. It's kind of like Josh said. Like, I would drop the question mark because he's still done what he had to do to get his team to where they are playing in the Super Bowl. Mr. Irrelevant. So I would drop the question mark. Does he have a lot of pressure coming into this? Absolutely. But so does Mahomes. It's really tough to go back to back. So this game, I'm super excited for this matchup because, like you called it sexy, which when Hodge says sexy, I'm like, oh, it's just kind of weird. But he said it was sexy.
Maybe it's cringy.
Yeah, maybe it's cringy. But no, that's why I sent that out about Cam. And I loved Brock's response. He was like, basically like, bro, like, you're not even in this discussion. Like, at least I'm a quarterback for one of the teams in the NFL.
Well, in the Super Bowl that he did play in, Cam Newton laid an egg.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl that Cam Newton did play in,
I just don't want Purdy to do that. Yeah, I hope that Purdy has a good game.
One of those guys that just likes to
he
be
becomes a former player Skip Bayless in that
Yes.
he says stupid stuff to get clicks. And don't get me wrong, we're talking about
It
Cam
works.
Newton.
Yeah, it
We're
works.
talking about how dumb of a response that Cam Newton had. So those are a little bit, when we come back, who has the most pressure? Who has the most pressure going into this? Because I've got somebody that I think might surprise you. We'll be back right after this.
Your laptop, TV, mobile phone, or devices. You might say your Touchstone Energy Cooperative is in the business of making it connected to
This commercial's so relaxing.
Of all the connections we made,
Like, I love it.
I would play this commercial to
It's like-
days John Daly, and it's like,
Yeah.
here, John, have a glass. Oh, man, it feels good.
That's funny. I love it.
Hello, Abilene, the country. My name is John Keating. I am a resident at Disability Resources Incorporated. I'm here to tell you about our document destruction and paper shredding business. Our services include routine pickups, purchase, or we accept drop-offs at our state-of-the-art, safe, and secure facility. We are the DRI shredders, and we are here to assist and serve you with the destruction of your most private documents or any of those annoying boxes that have stacked up over the years. Give us a call, 325-232-6918. Come on out and see us at 3602 West Black Street, and we're glad you did.
Cowboys football and another life. Royal Tampa. Jan Classic Kingdom. Tailgates going way past post game. Sunday night overtime. Playing well. We're speaking smoke. Miller Lite and pregame. America's team. Playing America's greatest. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly.
I just wrote down a weird chance, no chances. So I get this text. Greg goes, man, y'all have more bad luck on Friday than we have all week. The whole mall system clogged up.
Oh gosh, that's what it is.
And I guarantee it, I was at Heb's last night for the singer-songwriter for Outlaws because Abby French was in. And nothing happened. I bet that's when it started. It's all what they did. Not they, but just it makes sense now. And then number two, they got a maintenance guy.
Number 2 is the problem.
Yeah.
Normally, number 2
that
does
is
ruin
the
it.
problem. That is the problem.
So come back talking about pressure. 17-1 back to back. I think winning is the first. Do you think winning the first one is tougher than going back to back, even though that we've seen only 7 teams do it?
I think they're all tough. I mean, let's go with the plunger.
Where?
Right there. Strolling through the mall with a plunger.
Nothing to see here,
Yeah,
guys.
nothing to see.
Everything is fine, mall walkers, feel free. Dad told me to tell you to watch out for the trash can. I don't know what that means. Huh?
The trash can's what they hit.
Oh. I didn't know if that's where you were going to pee at.
No, it's before that's normal.
First Bank and Trust. We see potential, ideas, innovation, growth everywhere.
They call it Sin City. Some might think it's Paradise City. But welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Live and everything in between. Tons of people are in Vegas getting ready to watch Super Bowl 58. We are not ready to watch Super Bowl 58. We're still talking about Super Bowl 58. And we've talked about the studs in the game. We've talked about those. And now let's look at the pressure. Who has pressure? The most pressure, if you were to rank the top 2 or 3 most pressure in this weekend, I think there's a lot of storylines. Josh mentioned it, and Misty, of how Brock Purdy trying to win that, show that he's not just a game manager, trying to win a back-to-back Super Bowl. So who has the most pressure, Misty, do you think, this weekend?
For me, it's the 49ers. You know, they have been here. They just cannot get it done. Kind of reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys, but, you know, we don't make it to the Super Bowl. But the 49ers have the most pressure. They have been here. They have got to get it done. They have a healthy team right now. The Chiefs can lose. You know, a lot of people would disagree and say that the 49ers have no chance over the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have been here. They've been here for several years, they can lose this game. It wouldn't be, I mean, a big deal if they did. They're going to probably be back next year. So for me, it's the 49ers, like, you know, got to get the monkey off their back. And it's all 49ers and coach for sure.
All right, she's got a vote for the 49ers, Josh. Who do you have a vote for? Most pressure, and then we can work down on others that maybe have it as well. But who do you think has the most pressure this weekend?
It's a really tough question because
What does pressure look like? What is that definition?
Everyone wants to win, obviously, and you don't get that many opportunities to go to the Super Bowl in general, you know, and unless you are Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady, it appears. You know, so the 49ers have flirted with being, you know, a good team the last several years. You know, like they've made a Super Bowl, they've made some championship games. They're back into the Super Bowl. At some point, if you want to, you know, and if Shanahan you really want to submit that, you know, application for legacy, he needs to win a Super Bowl because you know, just having a good run obviously will get you paid and you know, you'll move on to the next year. But if you don't win a Super Bowl in a few years, it won't be really remembered, you know. So unless you're the Bills and you lose 3 in a row, people remember that. 4 in a row, sorry.
So you've got the 49ers.
Yeah.
As a whole.
As a whole.
Josh, you have.
And Shanahan's more
I say
specifically.
Shanahan because like most of the players are not the ones that were involved when their previous Super Bowl loss. You know, and they need to build on what they did last year with, you know, pretty much this current roster that wasn't quite able to get past the Eagles, you know. So I'm going to say Shanahan just to get that first one and get the, you know, the proverbial monkey off the back.
You know, and one of the things that we've heard a lot is a lot of the pressure has been directed toward the 49ers because of what you said. The Chiefs have won 2, not a big deal. Who, you know, we're saying that, oh, you don't win a third, oh, it's not that bad, at least you have 2. But you talk about folks, there's probably folks on that roster that weren't on it last year that still want that first ring. So I do think there's still pressure, and I'll get to that in a moment.
Well, I think, but to my point, you know, why I say it's the 49ers and Shanahan specifically is just that you want to, if you think about legacy, you know, you got to, you know, fast forward 5-10 years. You know, like when people look back at the run that Mahomes and Reed have had, there's not going to be any, well, you know, they could have won a couple more. I mean, you might say that, but in the scheme of things, like 2 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl appearances, you know, like moving to, you know, see what happens this week, you know, but that legacy is already established. It's already there.
Yeah,
you know,
it's okay
like,
if the Chiefs lose this game.
Well,
but
because of their recent
but
success.
also moving forward, you want to be, are you, you know, replacing the Patriots? Are you replacing the 90s Cowboys? You know, like.
So see, I think it's a conglomerate of it, but because a lot of people are saying, well, Purdy's got to prove something. I'm like, yeah, I mean, each time you get into a Super Bowl, you have a chance to prove something. It brought Purdy, everybody's like, well, he's been a game manager. He's got the most pressure to show that he's not just a game manager. He's not just you fill in the blank. Well, I think there's some pressure in there because you're the starting quarterback of a Super Bowl team.
Absolutely.
I mean, Colin Kaepernick had the same thing when he went against Joe Flacco. There's pressure there. And then there is pressure in the Kyle Shanahan thing because you do want to win a Super Bowl. But I'm going to go back to what you mentioned, and I'm not going to take credit for this, but they talked about this on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN this week. One of the greatest accomplishments that doesn't get appreciated enough is going to 4 straight Super Bowls. Marv Levy took the Bills to 4 straight Super Bowls, which nobody else has done, but never won one. And so you start looking at it. Nobody thinks of Marv Levy as one of the greatest coaches of all time. We think Marv Levy is one of the coaches that didn't get the job done.
Yeah,
Right.
if you can't finish, you're not remembered.
Now, he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
He's still in the Hall of Fame.
But it's a different caliber
It's a totally different caliber.
when you're winning.
So I think Kyle Shanahan has that same pressure of trying to get that monkey off his back. But I'm going to tell you another one because we start looking at, and I wrote down, and we can talk about it. It's really not a chance, no chance. But in that Patrick Mahomes trying to catch the GOAT, does he have to win 7 Super Bowls to become the GOAT? Number one, I think there's a little bit of pressure there on continuing that because, yes, he probably has a chance. I mean, history shows that the Chiefs will be in it next year.
Right.
But something can happen and he may not. Number two, I think the person that has a lot of pressure and we don't think about it because he's already got 2 rings is Andy Reid. Because Andy Reid is 65 years old. He has a chance to join Bill Belichick, Bill Walsh, Joe Gibbs, and Chuck Noll as the only people that have won 3 rings. And if I'm 65 years old, if I'm Andy Reid, and I'm like, if I can win 1 more, I get in that category, I can retire, I can move on, we can bring in Eric Bieniemy, I can move on. So I think there is some pressure on Andy Reid as well to win that 3rd and say, if I want to retire, it's the best time to do it. I can go out on top. So I have a little pressure pointed to Reid, but I do agree that I think Kyle Shanahan, because I go back to it, and I know y'all love it, but it's just like golf. He is the 54-hole leader, and he's been it a couple of times, and unfortunately, he gets blamed for the Falcons' debacle. Dan Quinn was the head coach. Dan Quinn was the defense coordinator. Dan Quinn, however you look at it, the defense gave up the points to let it. Yes, he should have done something maybe different and scored 1 more point or whatever. But Kyle Shanahan's got to get that monkey off his back. He is the Steve Young of this Super Bowl. And I think he is the only one that has the pressure of the win because of that. Because I do think they have a chance to continue to be good. All those. So yes, I think it is Kyle Shanahan. But I think Andy Reid as well.
Well, and I was going to say one thing. You kind of mentioned that Mahomes, does he, keep moving towards that Tom Brady, rarefied air, and you just assume that they might keep doing so as having more opportunities in the future. But they're going to have to do something to put some offense around him because right now, Pacheco's a decent running back, but he's not really a game changer in my opinion. And he has speed that can make stuff happen.
I really think Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a disappointment.
Well, yes.
Yes.
I mean, them drafting him to try to, be a feature back, and he's never been able to do that. But then, Travis Kelce, I mean, he's 35 years old,
And he may be moments away just wanting to go be Taylor's groupie and just take care of her.
Well, I'm just saying,
And retire like Gronkowski.
Yes, if he could. I don't think he's going to retire after this game or anything like that. But decline has to start setting in. I mean, he's just getting to the age where that's going to happen. And we've seen that they have not been able to replace Tyreek Hill since they let him, go when they were having some salary manipulation issues. So if you don't have Travis Kelce playing to that level on this team this year, they're not there now. And so it's like, their window's still open, but they're going to have to.
It's definitely closing.
They're going to have to make some stuff
Well,
happen.
I think they're in a position where it gradually closes.
Well, and
I don't think they're going to slam the door I think the Cowboys has more of a chance where that door's going to slam if things don't get rolling with Dak because it's going to be a start over for them pretty soon.
I agree with that 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think the window, because of Mahomes, and we've seen the longevity of how long you can play in Tom Brady, and again, everybody's an injury away from being done. But I think the Chiefs' door is almost like an hourglass that it's creeping to close.
yeah.
But I think like the Cowboys, I think the Ravens, I think the Chargers, even as young as Herbert is, now we're going to see if there's some rejuvenation with Harbaugh. But I think those windows are closing a lot faster. And we don't know because of Brock Purdy. Because here's the thing. If they lose, let's say they lose 35 to 32, and they scored to go up 32-28. And Mahomes gets the ball back with a minute. And if Mahomes does Joe Montana things and takes them down the field and then does Patrick Mahomes thing and throws the game-winning touchdown 35, and now it's 35-32, Chiefs win Super Bowl number 3, everybody goes crazy. To me, I don't know how you look at Brock in that, man, we were just close enough but didn't get it done. But then you can't say, well,
Colin, that
Well,
shit, you weren't good enough to get it done.
Well, you'd start looking at, and that's one of those things with a guy like Mahomes, you have to play the end of the game to be like, we've got to do what we need to do, and we can't give him time to try to come back and do his thing.
Well, that's why I said
But-
the defense is huge here, because if they can contain him somewhat, that's going to be huge. So the
And-
defense has to show up.
And, the Ravens did that to the Chiefs. They just didn't do anything on offense.
Right.
So I mean, that possibility is out there. And, you talk about the Cowboys, and how their window shut. Their window started shutting when Travis Frederick got injured and was
And had that, not disease, whatever that was.
yeah,
Uh,
and now they've got their offensive line is past its prime, even though the skill position players are there. And that's what I'm saying is like those windows are not just how long Mahomes can play, but how long can they
Right.
keep people around him.
And I agree with that because now for a team that just had their quarterback finish second in the MVP voting and only lost to Lamar and CeeDee Lamb, who was right in there as well, that window, they've got more pieces to fill. And one of the things that we need to fill is knowing is half the battle. We'll be back right after this. I mean, that was good, like football talk. It got me just jacked up.
Yeah, you're ready to fight?
I'm about to sing the national
Take the
anthem.
chair. Okay, I really need to pee. Like, should I
I
still
think it's
hover?
fine.
Yeah, but there's like water.
I
You
bet
Yeah.
just need your muck boots, and then you can go in
I'm
there.
gonna have to like hover.
Did you do anything or just?
I'm gonna have to hover. I'm going in.
How the toilet works, it just obviously overputting is disgusting. Like, disgusting.
Chuck E. Cheese is over there.
There's someone in there.
Of course, if theirs blocked up too and nobody did anything with it.
Yeah.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. Can't transition. Tailgates going way back. Sunday night overtime.
I forgot. Okay, so,
I got one.
okay, the puddle is deceiving. It's not right over the toilet. Thankfully.
Have you enjoyed the Toasty Live experience yet? If not, you're missing one of this.
Oh my goodness.
Great drinks, live music, TVs to watch your favorite sporting events. The Toasty Live team will make sure you have the experience that you're going to tell your friends about. Check out ToastyLive.com or go like them at Toasty Live on Facebook for their upcoming live music and ticket events. Head out to Toasty at 897 FM 1750 for the Toasty Live experience. When it comes to finding the right vehicle for you, there's no
Kobe Freeman says he'd like to see you fight Kim Mulkey from LSU.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
That would be pretty feisty because y'all would probably wear.
Yeah, I would definitely glitter up for that showdown. Yeah, Kim Mulkey would be a good one.
What am I looking for? Oh, Google.
But she could probably whoop me. she could probably whoop all of
If
us.
she's as feisty as she is to officials, she would take you out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, she would probably take us all out.
No.
Okay, so we're doing knowing, and then we're doing chance no chance.
And then we'll just roll in and finish it up.
Super Bowl parties, foods, all the things.
We can make that part of chance and no chance in that you've got to have X.
Queso. Queso. Anytime anytime he goes, okay, so I go, queso. I think it drives him crazy.
You have a habit of saying something on that
What do I
always
say?
stress me out.
What
You
is-
say, no, yeah. No, yeah.
No, yeah.
Or yeah, no. It's depending
Double
on,
negative.
like, you do it like, no, yeah, and then, no, yeah, no. Like, listen for it, Hodge. You'll start getting
That's
ticked.
funny.
Huh? I say that?
I do.
Oh. Come on, Marble. What?
Oh, we can't play the sounder?
Larry Marle's putting in the farmer ranch.
best smelling place.
Wow, the mall walkers are really
It's
partying.
party time.
They
Yeah,
are
it is
partying
loud.
out there. It is finally Friday.
We finally got our sign in. Now it's just putting it up.
They've gotten their steps in for the
Super
week.
glue. What's going on there?
It's gonna look good. But yeah, I need to bring some Lysol wipes for that bathroom. I need to put a woman's touch in there.
I would probably recommend a candle.
It does smell bad.
Well, it was not me. I did not poo, but
Well, no, it's just a,
it's
a
like
general,
the sewer
it's a
and
general just bad smell.
Yes.
I did not think that you.
I have some
blew it
spray
up.
in my purse.
Coming on back with a little 38 special. It's a special weekend as the Super Bowl 58 is in Vegas. We got hour number 2 brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. We're rocking and rolling. And now it is time for knowing is half the battle.
Okay. First of all, today, I one thing that you always have to be able to do is be able to admit when you might need a little help. And today, I do need a little help. So I've got a question, not an answer. And in full disclosure, it's not even a humble brag question. It's more of like a just straight up brag question, but it's still a problem that I need to fix. Okay? So can I lean on y'all for some advice?
Yes.
Josh, we are here for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a safe space.
I need to figure out how to ensure that my son Luke is not becoming a diva.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie, this is on the same did not see coming. As her question. Not gonna lie, that is.
Okay, in what
accurate.
regard? I need a backstory
Okay,
here.
well, and this, like I said, it's not even a humble brag. I'm just going to brag on my boys for a second. We've been playing some basketball. They practice a lot, and they play together at the house, and it's kind of one of those iron sharpens iron situations. So when it comes to Saturdays for game day, they are a little more prepared than their competition. To the tune of, and I'm just gonna say, like I said, I can brag on my kids, but I'm not just being the ridiculous father because I've got numbers to back it up. Luke scored double digits in 3 straight games. Games that the highest point total scored, was 34 points. So he scores quite a few points. And why I'm worried about his diva status is on Saturday we won a game 34-8. Of those 34 points, Luke scored 20, and Barrett scored 12. But Luke started to do these hand motions whenever he would make baskets.
What, like the
Yeah,
arrow?
He's like, what's
Like,
up?
giving us a little finger pop thing, like.
So it sounds like you're asking how does your son become a humble, great player?
Well, right. I mean, so I benched him. He only played a half, but he did score 22 points in a half.
Wow. Oh
Um,
my.
And
Coach Bacon, if you're still listening, I think we have some eligibility.
Yeah.
like, so I have 20 points and a half. Like Barrett scored 12 because Barrett's pretty good too, but Luke just he's a little bit quicker off the dribble and he gets by people.
So here's my thing. As far as one of the things, because again, I had a game the other night and a kid made a shot. And he did this back toward kind of the team that they were playing. And I just told him, said, hey, we're not going to taunt, because they want you to tee him up anyway. I'm not going to do that. But hey, don't do that. Anyway, I said, some officials would have teed you up as soon as you did it. So coming back to how do you not become a diva? Well, I mean, you've got kids and I'm sure there's softball divas out there. There's got to be.
Oh, yes.
How do you prevent that? You as a parent give the advice. I'm going to give it advice as an official / coach.
I think it's just this funny because when you were talking, I was also picturing baby Jack King. So Kyle's son is a good little baller. and I've watched them play, and because they're doing wily dribblers, and it is hilarious because Jack will make it, and he kind of does this, like, it is the funniest thing. So when you were talking about Luke and Barrett, I was like, this is literally Jack as well. And they're all around the same. I mean, they're the same age.
Yeah, they played
baseball
together.
together.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
these three sound like they're going to be on somebody's roster. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's just a conversation of like, okay, I always try to teach my kids, like, we're not going to boast. Like, yes, if you had a good game, that's great, but we're not going to make it about us. We're not going to boast. Go ahead.
Well, no, I think that's the whole thing. If it's how you celebrate and how you get excited is that you're just pumped about it, because you can do some things that is direct that person, and I don't know about it. How old are they? 7? 5. At 5, but they know if that excitement is directed toward the opponent.
Yeah, and they don't know. I mean, they're 5 years old, right?
But what they watch, because I guarantee it.
But you got to nip it now,
Some
right?
of the professional people are the ones that ruin it. I think there ought to be some excitement on where you can, and I'm not saying taunt, but if you score, there ought to be some excitement that you get to celebrate through. I mean, we've gone from, we're going to fine you for having a Sharpie, we're going to fine you from being the popcorn, I understand props, to now if you get a fumble recovery on the 1-yard line, you're running to the other end to celebrate with people. I think how you celebrate and how you show that excitement and where it's directed changes the level of diva or.
Well, and you don't want to
even a
be
worse one.
arrogant. I mean, that's the thing. So, it's just a conversation of like, hey, we want you to celebrate. You had a great game. You want to encourage them. But I think for me as a parent, something that I've always told my kids is like, yeah, we're going to celebrate, but we're not going to be cocky and arrogant, because that's when you've kind of crossed over. And at 5 years old, I mean, good grief, you're just out there having a ball, doing the things. But you just kind of have to have those conversations, I think, early, so that you kind of nip it now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you benching him for the second half, I think he's probably like, what the heck, Dad? Like, I've been doing all this. And maybe that's a conversation of like, look, you scored 20 points in the first half. Let's give somebody else a chance. And also, you need to kind of calm down. Like Taylor says, you need to calm down a little bit. Like, you don't want to be that kid.
And I didn't
Berate you?
No.
No,
All I
right.
did is the last bucket that he scored, and he did his little celebration thing. I called him over and said, Luke, we're up by 24 points. Now's not the time to be.
No, great parenting move.
I
will tell you, if you could teach, and I don't know if it's a lot of dribble bites, the one thing that kids do not do today, and I think a lot of it was one, I was a point guard, is if a pass, and you tell your kid this too, if somebody passes you the ball and you score, if you don't point back to the person that passed to you,
give him some props.
you should be benched.
Yeah.
Kicked off the team, don't ever come back. Because, and I used to do that when we were playing, and coaches would go play, and that's how I got better, was playing against older people. And when we played, and I'd make a pass to a player or person that scored, I mean, man, nice shot, great shot. That's and they're like, thanks, great shot. And they're like, oh, nice pass. So those things, if I go and I need a schedule, because I'd love to go and watch Collins and the boys play.
The boys have asked for you to come watch. They play tomorrow at
I'm going to need the next game.
Okay.
I'll be
The boy, I will
AYSA.
say, they're like that little league, because Jackson the same. Golly, they're so fun to watch. So
you only
fun.
have 2 more weeks left, Hodge, and they've specifically asked for you by name.
Well, you're in luck. I've got a chance next week, but not tomorrow. But there you go. Don't be a diva. Josh is being a great parent and a humble brag on his kids scoring pretty much all the points. And he's now coaching again of little dribblers. But the good thing is now we all when we come back, you're going to know who we picked for Super Bowl 58.
No, it really is funny.
Jack does the same thing. Like this is Jack. He'll like score and he kind of does this. Like this little move. It's so funny.
Luke does this like.
He's like, cha-chow.
And I think that's the thing. If you score and you do this little number,
Yeah,
that's
he's
fun.
not like this.
Yeah.
So like,
But see, there's other kids on the team like that, and I'm all for it because they might score 2 points the whole
Right,
season.
of course.
And they make a shot and we're up by quite a bit and they
They're
celebrate like they just won the Super Bowl.
Yes,
You know,
and that's so
like
sweet.
Um,
Yeah, no, I
But
think you did
just-
the right thing. Just those conversations of like, yeah. And you know what I also always told my kids, like, nobody wants to be friends with an irritant like
Yeah.
that. So you gotta learn now that like you have to rein that in because the older you get, people do not want to be friends with somebody that's like that.
in the last 3 games, we played one game against a team that had a couple of kids that were pretty good. The last 3 games, the other team has not scored a basket with if both Luke and Barrett were on the floor at the same time.
They're just, I mean,
They
they're just
play-
little gifted athletes.
They play defense and it just, they
Yeah.
smother people.
I mean, yeah. No, they're just gifted, but yeah, I think, like I said, you did the right thing. And letting other
The dad
kids
on
play.
the dad on the other team, you know, after that game, he was like, "Man, coach, you're like, no mercy. Your kids are still running down the floor up by 20." Just giving me a hard time.
You're like, they're 5.
Yeah.
This is what they
It's
want
like,
to do.
Trying to slow them down.
No mercy is when the Monterey girls beat,
Yeah.
it was like 102 to, God, that is crazy. They beat, I think, Coronado, they beat somebody else like 95 or 97 to 20, that team, same team. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's where I would like to see a mercy rule for basketball.
I think there needs to be one in
Because that to
basketball.
me is absolutely ridiculous.
But I know that there's pressure as far as on coaches and stuff, and I don't know if you've ever been in this situation. That like, you want to move up the rankings, you want to like, you know, stay,
Right.
you know, but, you know, at what point is it, are you risking your good players being injured by leaving them in a game?
Right.
You know, like you got it handily won, you move on to the next one. You know, like you want to keep you sharp, but you know, it's like.
I just, like I said, watching that game, I was like, golly.
What's your opinion on that, Hodge?
Sorry, I was having a buddy asking on what?
Well, just in a district game, you're up by a lot, and you're still just. I'm not saying you're pushing hard and like playing.
I don't think you should be pressing if you're up by X.
Yeah.
There's a time where you stop pressing, but it's also not there's a difference in still trying to leave your foot on the throat and all that, but from a pressing perspective. But then if you get back to half court and all we're doing is playing man or zone, and you're still turning it over, you're doing all that. Because I do think there is a bit of an embarrassment if I just start dribbling and I dribble out instead of going to
Oh,
shoot.
well, yeah, you can. No, I'm saying like playing your top players.
I mean,
you
well,
know,
that's
like
what Monterey did.
when do you put somebody on the
I mean,
bench?
when you're beating a team 102
I think
to
from them,
35,
I think from them at some point, because I don't want her going down. But again, you don't know if
and obviously
you don't know
scouts
if a dad is
were
coming in and
in-house.
said, I want her, you can play her as much as you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I want her to get all the exposure.
Oh,
all
and
the-
she does. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
no, but there is some, yeah, you want
but
to
good
lead
grief.
the state with points scored and all of that. I mean, there's a lot of other, but I'm just always thinking like,
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. We're on the last stretch of our Super Bowl show as we get ready for Super Bowl 58 this coming Sunday. The Chiefs trying to win number 3, the 49ers trying to win number 5, but the next one for
the first one,
the next one, the first one for Kyle
we
Shanahan.
need an interpreter
Yes, we do.
for
but-
hand motions.
Yeah, sign language, all the things. But it's time for Chance, No Chance. I want to give a few of those before we get into our picks. Chance or no chance. Andy Reid will be joining Nick Saban regardless of the outcome.
In retirement or? I mean, there's a chance. I don't know where the line would be on that, you know, on if you're going to put money on it, but there's a chance he would retire.
I'm going to say no chance. I'm going to say he's got one more year, win or lose. Or a few more. I don't think he can hang it up right now.
I think he could. I don't know if the Chiefs would hire Bieniemy. I'm going to say chance if they win, but I agree with you. No chance if they lose, but I'll tell my pick a little bit later. Purdy will be the reason the 49ers win or lose.
I mean, yeah, of course there's a chance. Like we got to have all cylinders heating up for this game for the 49ers to win because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So I don't think that he's going to be the sole reason
Let
for
me
that.
change that question. Purdy has to play a perfect game for the 49ers to win.
No, not perfect. I mean, he's just
chance.
got to show up. I mean, Purdy, I really hope he doesn't lay an egg. I just want it to be a good game on both sides. I really, really want him to perform.
I said before the championship game with them and the Lions that Golf did have to play a perfect game for them to be able to beat the 49ers, which, it fell apart there at the end, and then the outcome was what it was. I don't think that's the case with Purdy at all. Now, I do think that, he's done, that first half Purdy against the Lions. If that's what you see the entire game, the 49ers won't win. And
Well, I don't think he has to play a perfect game, but I do think he could. The reason I say win or lose, he could play a great game, but if the 49ers defense can't stop Mahomes,
Right.
he's not the reason.
That's why I said all
So
cylinders
he's-
are
he's-
got to be firing.
Taylor Swift will have more fans in the stands than both teams combined Sunday.
I'm going to say no chance only because it is the Super Bowl. I think in other just regular games, absolutely chance. But I'm going to say no chance because it is Super Bowl. And so all of the fans are
I don't
going to
think
come
there's
out.
fans of the teams at the Super Bowl anyway.
That's why I think it is a chance.
so-
Taylor Swift will have
Now,
the most
I don't
fans.
know. I mean, there's some committed people out there. But I don't know that there's enough committed people to actually just go to the Super Bowl because Taylor's going to be in the building. It's already expensive and hard to get
Yeah,
a ticket.
exactly.
So I guess on a statistical level, of people who would rank being Taylor Swift fans in the stands, there will probably be more than a Chiefs or a 49ers fan. But I don't think it's because necessarily Taylor Swift is there.
I would like to know how many prop bets are made on Taylor as opposed to how many prop bets are made on football.
Well, and y'all know that she's performing in Tokyo. So there's this big story about, is she even going to be able to, when is she going to be back for the Super Bowl? Because she's still on tour. And so there's all this, if she
Apparently
leaves.
it's a big deal because she's flying back from Tokyo and burning $13,000 worth of jet fuel or something.
Right.
like
No, it's a whole thing.
Well, I'm sure she's got some.
Yeah, I'm sure she's got some money, but okay. So I came across this little statistic. So Brock Purdy right now is earning $49,402 per game. Patty Mahomes is earning $53,048 per pass attempt. So chance or no chance that Purdy is one of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the league over the next few years.
As soon as they have to resign, he'll be one of the top paid. So chance.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say chance because, again, I don't want to go against.
Regardless of his performance in the Super Bowl?
Yes. Because he's not going to be defined by Sunday because he is going against Mahomes. So if Mahomes wins and the Chiefs win Super Bowl number 3, he's not going to be defined. When he's going to be defined is how he handles next year. Because, see, he's going to be responsible for next year as much as Kyle Shanahan if they lose. So next year, it'd be when he gets to decide whether or not, because we're seeing it right now. Dak's about to be the highest paid quarterback in the league because of timing. So his timing is going to be even farther down the road, which that quarterback now becomes even more expensive. So I'm going to say chance, and it has nothing to do with what happens Sunday.
Sums it up. Yeah. Just because when a quarterback has to resign, if he's considered anywhere top of a franchise leading quarterback, he will get mind-numbing money.
So chance or no chance, Altuve just signed his 5-year extension, $125 million extension. So all 5 years, chance or no chance that Altuve performs at that high of a level every year as he approaches 39 years old.
No chance.
I say there's a solid chance, just because of the way the contract is structured. Like I mentioned earlier, those last 2 years, he's only on the books for $10 million in those last 2 years, which means that is basic replacement level free agent, especially if you go forward in that many years, and as far as the way the game's going to advance, because look at the free agent signings that people have done this year, the people that are getting $5-7 million for 1-year deals that are, they don't have a chance to ever even play at a two-base level ever. So I think there's a solid chance he could also fall off the cliff. But
And any injury or anything like that. So, but I'm gonna say no chance. I think there'll be a point where he fades off into the sunset and very Albert Pujols like at the end, because he's different. That he's gonna play second, which you don't have to have a whole lot of movement. I mean, you do, but it's not like having to cover the outfield and all that, or throw him at first base. He's not gonna be at first base because of the reason that you just said, or that you said earlier. You're the same height, so it's gonna be hard to throw a high ball because it's gonna go over the stand. So no chance. All right, Super Bowl wise. You have to have appetizers at a Super Bowl party. If you don't, your Super Bowl party should not happen.
well,
Absolutely, 100%. Food matters.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. Food. Let's go top 3 food. We got about 5 minutes left. Top 3 foods you got to have at a Super Bowl party. Misty, you go one, then Josh and me. We'll see. You can't take the other.
Queso, chips and queso.
that's a solid one. Some sort of slider with a smoked meat product.
Yeah, those are pretty good. You don't see them a whole lot because I think you'd have to get it, but I think a fried pickle is a really good waiting on the next thing. So I would say fried pickle. We got chips and queso. Some type of dip has got to be there.
All the
Josh
dips.
has got a slider. Go.
Tater kegs.
Tater
And I
cakes,
will be
you get
eating them on
I've never
Sunday.
had a tater cake at a Super Bowl
What?
party.
Oh, at a Super Bowl party.
We're getting specific.
Yeah, Super Bowl party, but you're gonna have
I'm
that
gonna be there
opportunity
because I'm
Sunday.
going. Yep.
So I got
Tater
tater cakes, I got chips and queso.
Man, y'all are pretty much naming all of, but jalapeno poppers.
Those are pretty good too. I think basically just because it's my tradition, if a Dorito's not there, it's not a Hodge
Well, I
brought
would
Super Bowl
say
party.
chance or no chance on that.
Yeah, that's a
There's
huge
no
chance.
chance it will not be
And
there.
we need some like brownies. We need some sweet
All right,
treats,
so that's the
cookies
thing.
and
So
brownies.
the dessert's got to be there. All right, so
Yep.
you're going with the
I'll go
dessert.
brownies.
Brownies, Josh.
If I'm gonna pick a dessert, man, brownies are hard to beat.
You need a finger. It
Yeah,
needs
it's
to
gotta
be
be-
something you can
yeah,
just
like-
pick up.
Man, I can't think of any. I usually skip dessert. I just eat more fried foods, and that's why I'm very fat.
There you go. I think in dessert wise, I think anything cookie, something that you can grab and not have to have a plate for.
Yeah,
It's
no
huge.
fork. Yeah,
And that's
just
the other
grab.
hard part about that. So the main course, real quick, go.
The main course. Oh,
Or is there a need for a main
No,
course?
No, I
no,
think it's just
it's
heavy.
just
Okay,
all
heavy
heavy
hors d'oeuvres, no matter how you
appetizers.
spell it.
Yep.
All right, heavy hors d'oeuvres, no matter how you spell it, that's for great.
I want Hodge to spell that on air.
It starts with an H and not a W. Okay, so Misty, who do you have winning the Super Bowl and why?
I'm going 49ers. It pains me because obviously as a Cowboys fan, I hate the 49ers. But man, I like Brock Purdy. I like what he's doing. I like Shanahan. This is the time for them. And so I really am pulling for the 49ers. I love Mahomes. I like the Chiefs, but I want to see.
Okay, so they'll win. Why?
Because they're going to be fired up. They're back. They've got that. They want to prove that they are going to get the monkey off their back. And Purdy wants to prove that he is relevant.
So you're saying the why will be because he plays well.
I think they're going to be firing on all cylinders. They're going to be pumped up and jazzed and ready to win. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm very torn on this because I think it's a tough question to answer, and B, because Clay and I are the only remaining people in a pool, so I had to pick the Chiefs because he had the 49ers.
That's also why I'm going for them. I
So-
want him to win some money.
So I'm going to pick the Chiefs and just hope that I win the full money.
And that's your why. But why do they?
That's my
All
only.
right, so her why is that, but her why is that they're going to be mentally ready and all those things. Your why is, but why do they win? That's my question.
Because my kids need shoes.
Okay, all right. My
The
reason,
defense is going to, the specific why, the defense is going to put pressure on Mahomes and contain him. And then the 49ers offense is going to be firing. Purdy's going to air it out. They're going to win
That's what I'm
28-31.
I'm really just giving you a hard time.
Right.
The reason, if I was going to say the Chiefs, it's because if it's close at the end and they manage to get the ball in Mahomes' hands, it just seems to happen.
my why is, I agree with the Chiefs. My why is Andy Reid's going to outcoach them. Steve Spagnuolo is going to have a game plan ready to make it difficult for Brock. And Patrick Mahomes will have a game-winning drive down the stretch, very Montana-like. Rashid Rice will catch the game-winning touchdown pass in Super Bowl 58, Kansas City Chiefs win Super Bowl number 3, and Andy Reid retires within the next 2 weeks. I hope you have a great Super Bowl party.
That's
Hope you have a
lot of
great
stuff
week.
right now.
Yeah, jot that down. Again,
What's
thank
the
you.
score? What's the score?
28-24. Thank you for being here. See y'all next week. We'll have a Super Bowl champion. Good stuff.
I really just wanted to, like, I